朋友晚安，我是以素，欢迎收看《ITA看世界》，一起看世界。和台湾相隔一片海洋的菲律宾，同属南岛语系，当地原住民族历史经验和现况发展，跟台湾原住民族有许多相同处境。像是菲律宾总统杜特地2016年上任至今，以反毒反恐政策为名，不但放任非人道的逮捕和杀害，甚至将许多倡议人权者、原住民领袖、原住民族团体呢列为恐怖分子，让他们被迫离开家园，也面临人身安全的危险处境。联合国人权专员曾经对此表示强烈谴责，而菲律宾原住民族也积极寻求国际帮助。这周，来自菲律宾原住民族地区的科蒂埃拉人民联盟主席，以及一位社会议题创作歌手，来到台湾，用话语、用歌曲分享他们的处境。而且呢，我们很荣幸透过特派记者杜希进行一段专访。而现在呢，我们就带观众朋友一起来听听看菲律宾目前的人权现况。
杜希马杜更瓜兰，各位观众朋友，大家好，欢迎收看《ITA看世界》，我是杜希。今天呢，我们非常荣幸邀请到2位来自菲律宾，长期投入原住民族权利运动以及人权捍卫行动的2位，我们的行动工作者来到台湾。那今天呢，就特别要访问到问到他们怎么样投入这样的工作，以及现在菲律宾面临到什么样的状况。So good evening, welcome to Taiwan. Is it your first time to Taiwan?
Yes.
Yes, both of your first time. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we have first is Wendell from the Cordillera People's Alliance. Could you say hello to our audience?
Yeah. Good evening, Taiwan. Warmest greetings from the Cordillera, Philippines.
And we have Danny here with us as well. So you are a poet, also a singer.
Yeah.
Can you also greet our audience?
Good evening, Taiwan. Thank you for welcoming us here.
So welcome again. And so first I would like to, maybe you can introduce yourself briefly to our audience, what organization you are working with, and what's the main purpose or the main working force of the organization. Maybe we can start with
Yeah, I'm the current chairperson of the Cordillera People's Alliance, which is the alliance of various indigenous peoples organization in the Cordillera, which is located in northern Philippines, and also the national convener of the National Alliance of Indigenous Peoples in the Philippines, which is Katribo, and all we do is for the objective of advancing the collective rights of indigenous peoples to our ancestral land or traditional lands and territories, and our basic inherent right to self-determination.
Right. And how about Danny?
I'm Danny, and I'm a poet and a songwriter and performer also. At the same time, I also a cultural organizer. I organized the artists in the Philippines to help them how to use their art in the service of the different sectors in our society, particularly the workers and the peasants and the indigenous peoples.
And that brings me to my next question. I would like to ask you, what was the inspiration you have that inspire you or attract you or arouse your attention for you to join the movement at the first place? Danny?
For me, when I joined the movement in way back 1987, it was the Menjola massacre that became an eye-opener for me to join the movement. And during the time, I still don't know how to perform, how to play guitar, and to act and write. No, I was then a political science student in a university, but later on I devoted myself to serve the people's movement when I learned how to use the power of the art to the service of the Filipino people.
You talk about this was this massacre, and what happened at that time?
It was a big rally, mobilization of the farmers in Mindiola, in the gate of the Malacanang Palace. And they were massacred. That was the time of Cory Aquino, after Marcos.
Okay. So the farmers were protesting there, and
Yeah,
then
they
were
were
killed.
protesting. Yeah.
How about Window? What was your first inspiration that drew you to this movement for how many years?
It's very clear that there is a social injustice in the Philippines, and in fact, my family is a victim of massacre. My uncle was summarily executed by the police. My two cousins were also killed 1 month after they murdered my uncle, and my brother was also killed, and this was the time in the 1980s, and up to now justice has never been served. And when I entered the college, we also faced this problem of exorbitant tuition fee and school fees. And that also prompted me to study and what's the problem of Philippine society. And there I started to be, that was my awakening of the social issues. And so since I graduated in college until now, I became full-time at the Cordillera People's Alliance, after having been a student leader during my high school and college days.
Okay. You mentioned about the tuition fee, and also you mentioned about the farmers, but as far as I know, until now, there's still this kind of, there's still issues regarding the tuition fee, regarding the university education, and there's still a lot of killings or attack against farmers, right?
And the latest was in Negros. It was
Saturday 9.
2 weeks ago, or
Yeah.
1 week
Just
ago.
2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
So for you, like both you joined the movement in around 1980s,
Yes.
Early 1990s, and until now we have 20, 30 years passed. Is there any slight changes you've seen? Otherwise, as you see, like at first you see the tuition fee issue, and there's the slaughter or the massacre of farmers, and until now, things like this still happen. But I think at least there is something changed.
It is, I think, a change for the worst, especially under the current dispensation, under the Duterte, President Duterte. Tuition fees keep on rising, and thus become a privilege, not a right or opportunity as contained in the 1987 Constitution, which is why many bright sons and daughters of the Filipino people who wanted to finish, especially college education, but they cannot afford because of the high tuition fee increases, high inflation rate, very low wages of workers. Their parent farmers cannot afford to send them to school, especially for indigenous peoples who have been historically marginalized. So since I was in college and now, there was no change for the better, but it was in fact a change for the worse. So that is one of the social problem that we face as indigenous peoples and Filipino people in the Philippines.
And how about Danny? What's your observation? As Wendell said, he thinks there's nothing really changed for better, but from your perspective, what do you think?
For me, change is the only permanent thing in this world. Of course, there is change, but yeah, Wendell is correct, no, for the worst. But the positive change is the movement is getting stronger. No, that's the best change that's happening right now. The united front of the people are getting stronger against dictatorship that we had now.
Right.
Yeah.
Since you're a songwriter,
Yeah.
could you also share with us a song, maybe that's the song you think most meaningful for you, or a song that supports you for all these years? Every time when maybe you are upset, maybe if there's a song that would cheer you up or remind you like why you joined the movement at first place?
Yeah. This is called Di Pangkaraniwan. Yeah, I wrote this song for the comrades, for the people who are involved in the struggle, no? Especially those who already gave their lives for the betterment of others. So this is the most humble thing that I could do, no, to write a song like this. Yeah. Kahanga-hanga kayong ang sarili, laan sa pagsisilbi. Kayong ang ligaya ay nasa ngiti ng bawat dukha't api. Walang hinahangad na gantimpala, kundi ang makitang bayan ay malaya. Walang katumbas ni anumang halaga, dakila ninyong gawa. Mabuhay kayong mga di pangkaraniwan, pag-ibig ninyo ay walang hangganan. Mabuhay kayong lubos ang katapatan, mabuhay kayo kailanman. Kahanga-hanga kayong bumabago sa lipunan at sa mundo. Ang kabuluhan ninyo'y mamamalagi at di maitatanggi. Sa bawat pahina ng kasaysayan ay gintong talang laging masisilayan, at ang kahulugan sa mahihirap, liwanag ng isang bagong bukas. Mabuhay kayong mga di pangkaraniwan, pag-ibig ninyo ay walang hangganan. Mabuhay kayong lubos ang katapatan, mabuhay kayo kailanman. Mabuhay kayong mga di pangkaraniwan, pag-ibig ninyo ay walang hangganan. Mabuhay kayong lubos ang katapatan, mabuhay kayo, mabuhay kayo, mabuhay kayo kailanman.
Thank you. So this is a song for the people who are working together and also to serve the others, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like a love song.
Yeah, because I just want the listener to feel little bit, you know, sentimental, you know. That's why I put the music like that. And
Right, it's very nice song.
Yeah.
And so with this the way how you are really insert or try to tell people about the situation in the Philippines, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I every issue that comes out, you know, from the newspaper, from the news, you know, I always write, if not poem, songs. You know.
Right.
Kawindel knew that. I always have a new one. You know, every time there is a new issue. Yeah.
And you have the inspiration
Yeah.
to write up the song. And I think for you, because we know there's a lot of human rights disputes and human rights issues that have been happening and taking place in the Philippines. But for you, what do you see as the most pressing issue that you think is like people should know, no matter if you are Taiwanese, of course, the Filipinos should know, but also the world should also know about the most pressing issue you think in the Philippines?
The most pressing issue that should alert and alarm humanity is the persisting impunity and human rights violations in the Philippines under Duterte. Just under his 2-year administration, there are more than 100 already victims of extrajudicial killings. More than 300 victims of trumped-up charges. And many of them were illegally arrested and jailed. Some were missing. And thousands of individuals from various communities were displaced, forcibly displaced from their communities because of bombings and strafing from the armed forces of the Philippines. You know this mindset of the president who does not care about human rights. What he cares is to stay in power at all cost. Even, you know, he said, his policy directive to the armed forces, flatten the hills, arrest these people and fatten the fish of Manila Bay. Yeah, shoot the New People's Army women in their vagina. So his misogynistic attitude against women, his persistent attacks against the church, including killings of pastors and church workers, his attacks against the European Union, the United Nations system, who have been critical of his war against drugs. You know, the big total number of the war against drugs has risen to more than 27,000 people. 27,000 people were killed under his administration, and no less than the Philippine National Police admitted that 5,000 were killed because they tried to fight back when the police were trying to arrest them. So even the police accepted this number of killings at this magnitude. But those big drug lords, nobody has been detained or arrested yet. But it is coming out that Duterte is the biggest protector of drug smuggling, which is why he wants to control the Bureau of Customs, because that's the agency where drugs are smuggled into the country. So that's the most pressing issue, the killings. His order is kill. And that should prompt and force every one of us, whether you are Taiwanese, indigenous person or not, that this killing should stop.
Yes.
Because even a single killing, murder of an innocent man or woman should not be allowed. But 27,000, 5,000, and that is on top of that, more than 100 were victims of political killings. This should be stopped. The world has to say, enough is enough. Duterte, you must step down. Because as long as Duterte is in power in Malacanang, these killings will continue.
But I still observe that in the Philippines, even though people know about this, but still there are a group of people and quite a big amount of people, they are still like core fans of the president. They're still really supportive to the president. What do you think? Why there are still some people, they don't see all this behavior or all these crimes as crime, but still support him?
The good news is that his popularity rating keep on dropping, plunging. Yeah, and that is a good indicator that he is now being separated from the people, and so it's only his troll army in the social media, the military and the fanatics. Let's say, yeah, I use the word fanatics that supports him, because at first he was really very popular because people expected high from him to bring change. But this situation wherein the inflation rate has gone beyond control, such that all the prices of basic commodities and services has gone high, and yet the wages of workers keep on is not rising. So just for example, last year, the daily cost of living for a family of 6 is 1,400. That was last year. How about this year? We're in 6.2. The inflation rate has reached 6.2, and the inflation rate for food has reached 9%. That 1,400 last year must have tripled. But the minimum wage of workers is still pegged at 280 to 300. So, what does 300 pesos buy if the daily cost of living has already increased to 3,000 a day because of this high inflation rate? So, even those who believed in Duterte before is now disgruntled. The public discontentment is growing high. So, the call for ouster or for him to resign or step down before being ousted is growing and growing, which is why Comrade Danny here said that one of the good things, while the situation has turned from bad to worse, but from good to better, is the growing people's movement and struggle.
Right.
It is Duterte himself which is causing him, he is the one destabilizing his administration. He is the one ousting himself, not the people.
That's all about his own behavior.
Because of his own behavior, because of his own doing, because of his own policies and program that oppresses and continues to exploit and put the people to misery than ever before.
Danny, you actually have a song about that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you like to share that one?
Yes, yes.
So we have a singer here.
This is called I'll Cover For You.
Yeah.
Yes. My first song when he declared martial law in Mindanao. Yeah. Manggahasa man kayo ng isa, dalawa, tatlo, ako ang inyong pangulo at sagot ko kayo. Basta't gawin niyo lang kung anong nararapat upang mamamayan ay ligtas. Upang mamamayan ay ligtas. Mga bomba ay hulog, isa, dalawa, tatlo, hanggang sa madurog, mapatag, maabo. Mga kabundukan pati ng syudad, upang mamamayan ay ligtas. Upang mamamayan ay ligtas. Ito ang aking gera kontra droga, terorismo. Sa inyong pagtalima, sagot ko kayo. Huwag nyo lang papansinin mga nagrereklamo tungkol sa kanilang karapatang pantao. Sila'y taga-suporta ng mga terorista, mga durugista at tulak ng droga. At kapag may naglabang isa, dalawa, tatlo, kahit na libo-libo, barilin agad ninyo. Basta't protektahan ang buhay at pagtangal ng ating mga mamamayan, ng ating mga mamamayan. Ito ang aking gera kontra droga, terorismo. Sa inyong pagtalima, sagot ko kayo. Huwag niyo lang papansinin mga nagrereklamo tungkol sa kanilang karapatang pantao. Sila'y taga-suporta ng mga terorista, mga durugista tulad ng droga. Ng laban! Manggahasa man kayo ng isa, dalawa, tatlo, ako ang inyong Pangulo at sagot ko kayo.
So for the last part, I would like to ask you, because you travel all the way from the Philippines to Taiwan, and also it's actually not so easy for you to come all the way here. Why do you think it's important for you to send a message out to the world? Why people in Taiwan or other parts of the world, we should all know about the situation and what happened in the Philippines?
Yeah, in the Philippines today, under the Duterte government, there is de facto martial law, nationwide. It's not just in Mindanao. And so our right to demonstrate, our right to say our grievances to the government, our right to organize, and freedom of speech, those are all practically curtailed. Of course, we can still manage to do that, but you are being monitored by the government. In fact, they tag you as terrorist. And being tagged as a terrorist is very difficult because you can just be arrested without warrant.
Yeah.
You can just be killed anytime. Your assets and properties can just be confiscated because you are a terrorist, and being a terrorist is worse than a criminal. So that's the scenario, that's the situation in the Philippines. So we are forced to come out of the country to expose to the world and appeal to humanity, to the world, to the world, to the peoples of the world, their sense of justice, their sense of justice and democracy and human rights, to help us in the Philippines to stop these killings, to stop this martial law, to prevent another dictatorship. And also second, as indigenous peoples and as Filipino people, it's important to come out and continue building solidarity with indigenous peoples in Taiwan, and also to reach out to the broader Taiwanese public. And this TV interview is already a great step forward towards that objective. So we are thankful for all the support in response to our appeal for human rights and even for the disaster impacts, because the Philippines has been ravaged with super typhoons, and we are facing another super typhoon today. And so the help from the Taiwanese public, from the peoples of the world, and indigenous peoples alike are very helpful for us. So we have to come to Taiwan and other parts of the world to do this.
How about Daniel? Would you like to add something to that?
Well, sure. Yes, of course, the victory of our people is only possible, with the support of other people also from other countries, and because it adds pressure to our government to resolve the issue, and it adds also a strength to our movement to fight and struggle for justice and peace. Yeah.
And you have one last song to share with us.
Yes. So I would like to sing this song, the experience of the indigenous peoples from the southern Philippines who were militarized and driven from their land because of big mining companies. Yeah. Maaari po bang makituloy sa inyong pamayanan, sa inyong tahanan? Kami po ay nanggaling sa malayong lugar. Marami po sa amin pinaslang ng militar. Maghapot magdamag na naglakbay, sa pagod at gutom di makagapay. Mga batang paslit, matatanda at may sakit, walang kalaban-labang, pinagtaboy ang pilit. Upang bigyang daan, dambuhalang minahan, na siyang kumakamkam sa likas na yaman. Sa lupang ninuno, lupang katutubo, sa lupang pangako. Maaari po bang makituloy sa inyong pamayanan, sa inyong tahanan? Mga bahay namin at eskwelahan, pananim at kabuhayay, sinunog at winasak. Upang bigyang daan, dambuhalang minahan, na siyang kumakamkam sa likas na yaman. Sa lupang ninuno, lupang katutubo, sa lupang pangako. Subalit hindi rin magtatagal, kami ay babalik sa lupang mahal. Dangal na niyurakan aming ibabangon, sa laya at katarungan, buong lakas na susulong. Aming isisigaw, Igbaw, Mindanao, wakasan ang karahasan, pagmimin at pangangangkam. Igbaw, Mindanao, Igbaw, Mindanao, wakasan ang karahasan, pagmimin at pangangangkam. Sa lupang ninuno, lupang katutubo, sa lupang pangako. Maaari po bang makituloy?
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And again,
Thank you too, yeah.
welcome to Taiwan. Hope you will enjoy your stay. And I think with sharing, you just share with us your experiences and also your insight. It's very important to remind us, no matter who we are, no matter where we are, we have to uphold the principle of humanity and human rights, of course. And the people united will never be defeated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
感谢笃义和两位来宾。我们相信，无论为了什么目的，采取什么手段，人权和人道精神绝对是不能放弃的普世价值。而透过今天访谈，也希望能够将这份理念传递出去。广告之后，我们将继续带你回来看到更多国际上原住民族相关新闻。